Okay, we'll move straight on.
Moi, je suis allée sur leur site direct.
Yeah, that's it. Just hold that base down and take exercises. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so what we'd like to do is to introduce to you Nelson, and we were having a discussion about whether you were before or after Tom, but around a similar sort of time. Nelson works for BBC Interactive, not living in Stamford. And where are you based now? Still in White City. So Nelson works for BBC Interactive as a usability experience professional. We'll go through some of the things that BBC are going to about what it's called.
Hello everyone. It's a bit weird to be here, to be honest, because lots of members of this room have a few that at the end, so it's a bit strange to be up here now and kind of giving a speech. So when Chris kind of emailed me on LinkedIn what to present, I wasn't too sure exactly what to do, so I decided to break my presentation into two different things. So one would be, what is a user experience designer? And there's loads of questions about it, especially if you talk to professionals and say, oh, I'm a user experience designer, they usually go, what are you exactly? And the other part will be a project that I just finished launching, and it's basically, I play a radio. That was kind of launched about a month and a half ago, and I'm just going to show you what kind of work I've done on it. So that was the kind of the agenda. I've got a short video to kind of show you guys what it feels like to work at the BBC. Hopefully you will enjoy it. I didn't do this, by the way. So, oh, you can't actually. It's a private view. Well, so I was meant to show you what it feels like to work at the BBC. I would say it's great. It's great fun. You work with really talented people, and also you have a chance to kind of explore your ideas as well, alongside people like stakeholders as well. So, what is a user experience designer? Usually, when we start a project, we basically give a kind of user story, and your kind of role is to kind of help project managers and business analysts and developers and key stakeholders. Now, key stakeholders for the BBC are people that, for example, own Radio 1, for example. So when we have like a user story, we usually have like either a problem to solve or some new idea that we want to bring like a feature. Usually we have this discovery period where we kind of play around with concepts, and then we kind of start defining it a little bit more. So what is the problem and how we can solve it, and we work alongside the PMs and PAs on this. And then you have the kind of development cycle. So the development cycle is that as a designer, I will work alongside the developer, and then kind of make prototypes, and hopefully you can see at the bottom, you kind of test it, define it again, and then make sure everything is fine. And then we kind of go into the delivery stage, where we have testers to make sure it works across browsers, and if you have old Firefox, for example, that will still work okay. As a user experience designer, you need kind of 3 skills, roughly. So you need to be kind of good at visual design, making things kind of pretty. And then you need kind of the interaction side as well. And this is actually a photo that I took when I did my master's here. And I think interaction design can be sometimes misleading. I think it depends who you speak to. An interaction designer, some people might think it's just for the web, but it's not just for the web. Interaction designer can be the way you do like interactive installations, for example. So you need to be a good visual designer, a good interaction. And also you need to have a kind of deep understanding, of information architect. So in information architect, you would do kind of user stories, kind of site maps. This is a really bad example that I did work. So with these 3 skills, you kind of put that into a project all the time. So you're constantly going back and forth from being a visual designer to information architect throughout the project on a daily basis. So this is like a mind map I did recently for the radio player, and mind maps are great because you can just pull loads of ideas on a piece of paper or like in the software, and you can kind of define like a couple of stages, like the phase 1 or phase 2 of the project, really quickly and easy. Another thing that as a UX designer might use, which I really recommend, is sketching. And this is a poorly sketch on my desk that I did. But it's a really kind of quick way of getting ideas down really quickly. I consider myself a really bad drawing kind of person, and I draw like a baby actually. But it's still good for you to just understand. You don't have to show this to anyone. But in terms of sketching, you can also do some kind of quick prototyping as well. We can, if you do a couple of sketches and take it to your creative director, you can get a sense of what you're trying to explain as well. Wireframes is another kind of thing that you need to kind of use constantly, especially at the BBC. And this is kind of a little bit too detailed, but this is again like a wireframe for radio player. And here I worked alongside the business analyst and just make sure that kind of the user stories are there as well, and maybe kind of think about the technology as well we might use in the end. It's a bit crazy, but it is kind of useful to actually do that in the initial stage of the project. And then you kind of do the high fidelity visuals, and these are when you put everything with wireframes and you start working alongside the developer and make sure everything kind of looks fine and it looks well. It's not just as we hear about design a website, but you also have to make sure that it's functional as well, and you can actually do it. So here's an example of a programs page for radio, and this is one of the boards that I like on my desk. I have like a kind of wall behind me, and I love to kind of put stuff there, and it's really quite fun. Like you put loads of kind of high fidelity visuals, you have wireframes, kind of sketches that you've done. Also, it's a great place to actually, if someone already worked on something else, like for example, they did a favorite in the news, for example, you could print it out and put it next to the work you're working on now, so you can always go back and see how things are kind of progressing in one side. You can take ideas from. And also, I use loads of post-its, to make sure that, if I kind of miss something, rather than going to Photoshop or Illustrator, I can just write it down really quickly and stick it there. And also, it's a great place to, if you want to kind of mimic like a hover states, you can just draw on a piece of paper and stick it there. So it's great fun. So just in case people don't know what iPlayer is, I just have one slide that shows. But it's basically a service that on-demand service. So if you missed like a program online, you can always go there and kind of check it out. There is some broadcasting dates on it. So
sorry, can I just ask you? Sorry, very briefly.
I can drink some water.
Yeah, you can. Because a fair proportion of the audience is here from France.
Yes.
That it's probably worth giving more sort of full explanation of the importance of iPlayer.
Okay. Actually, I wanted to ask before, and I was a bit nervous to come in. Who's here like planning to apply for a job as a UX? Show of hands? Anybody?
User experience?
User experience?
If you know, I recommend it.
Right now, really. I will come back to the end when you ask that. So for those who don't know iPlayer, so it is an on-demand service, and what does that mean? It means that if you watch something, if it was broadcast on TV or radio, you can kind of come back to the iPlayer and watch it. There is like a limited, sometimes some programs have a limited time in it. They will be normally 30 days, and hopefully you know what it is. Also, you can watch what's live on TV now, but you have to be TV license based. That's my salary. So we're going to go into what is the kind of work I've done for iPlayer Radio, and what is actually the radio at the BBC. I think some people kind of think it's a small proportion of the BBC. It's actually quite a large department. So this is one example. Radio 1 is one of the kind of key radio stations at the BBC, and actually. I forgot to say something. So roughly, BBC iPlayer Radio has roughly around 4.5 to 5.6 million listeners weekly online, and most of them going into Radio 1 and 1 Extra, Radio 2 or 4, and also iPlayer Radio has 57 stations, if I'm not wrong, and 11 of them are nationals, 6 nations and 40 locals, and locals are Radio Manchester or BBC London. So this is what one of the kind of top brands we have for radio, and this was kind of launched about a month and a half ago. We had like a month prior to that as a beta. So I'm just going to talk to you a little bit of kind of work we did. So at the top we have something called the stream, and there's almost 5 tabs on the stream, and these can be customized for the network. In this case, 6 music decided to have from highlights, latest clips, and popular music, popular shows and live music. And this is where kind of the networks can basically promote either episodes they have or events coming up as well. And speaking of that, at the bottom we have something called the Tier 2, and these are kind of modules that can be customized for the network. So if the Hackney weekend is coming up, they want it here. So when I kind of speak about iPlayer Radio, most people come to me and say, "Oh, you're that guy who designed that." I'm not actually, but most people are. When you say BBC iPlayer Radio, that's where people usually they think it's about the app. But like I showed you before, there is other great content online that you should check it out. So I'm going to kind of just talk to you what I've done for iPlayer Radio specifically. Even I worked also on like all the network pages, but I also worked on the homepage. And I'm going to show you some of the stuff I've done, like all the steps that I came into. So we had this kind of key, kind of few things that we wanted to do. Radio, and that's where you want to go. You know, you want to go beyond, like you want to have kind of give the user a richer kind of experience, and then also make a better interactive experience. In radio, we also wanted to deliver a more kind of personalized experience. So previously, this is what the landing page for radio was. It was kind of aggregated via all the network stations, and it kind of showed what's live now. And some of them had what the track was playing. And basically, there was only kind of two kind of user journeys for me. One would be you could listen live, and then it would take you to the network page. So we wanted to simplify that a little bit more. So this was kind of like the initial idea we had. And again, kind of looking into what the network pages are, you know, having the stream at the top. But you know, when you have 57 stations competing for 6 kind of prominent images at the top, it's kind of hard to kind of help them what goes there. So we want to simplify that a little bit more and it kind of help the user's journey into a network or discovery. So what's the problem with the kind of conventional kind of shopping window? If you have loads of things in front of you, the user tends to kind of get slightly lost and they might not know what they want. So this is a great example of you're looking for a shop and there's so many things there. So what we wanted to do, we wanted to kind of direct the user into a specific thing that they're hoping to kind of find out in this. So this is the kind of model we were looking at. There's so much content, let's filter it. And then when they filter into it, they can kind of explore it. And also we had this question, where do you want to go today? We wanted to kind of help by simplify, easy navigation and kind of also personalize, like I mentioned before. And here's like a kind of mind map I did for the landing page. So this is like the first, like phase 1 at the top and kind of phase 2 at the bottom though. And phase 1 at the top, it's kind of like quite simple. We have 5 links, and these would either take you to the network pages, or show the categories pages, or like a schedule, or show some of the favorites if you have the favorites on video. On the phase 2, it's a little bit more complicated. This is what we're hoping to do in the future for radio. So bringing personalization a little bit more in recommendation. For example, if you like kind of Yana and she's live on Radio 1 doing a live session, we would be pumped when we go to Player Radio homepage. So the kind of first initial concepts we had. So this is like a really simple design that we thought about, and kind of going through all of them. We wanted to kind of again keep it simple, helping the user not spend too much on the homepage. And then at this stage, I looked alongside the developer and just tried to understand how the functionality. It wasn't more about the visuals at this stage. It was more about the functionality, and also we wanted to kind of keep up with the trends. And responsive design is a really kind of amazing thing up there now. That we designed for one for a desktop, but it will work across all platforms almost. So we had to kind of think that about in mind, and the design almost kind of had to take detail into that. So this is the kind of design we're finishing. It's like now. Sorry. So if I go to so I don't have internet connection, but hopefully it will work okay. So if I go through the tabs, we wanted to kind of have kind of simple layout and design. So when the user comes to the homepage, you can either like we wanted to keep stations, for example, very simple. What station do you want? What network do you want to listen to? Categories again, kind of very simple. And schedules just show what's on air now and what's next. And favorites, which I'm not looking, but basically if you favorite Chris Moyles, well actually Chris Moyles is not there anymore, Chris Evans, then you would have like an episode that you favorite, and also you would be following Chris Evans. So, responsive design, and hopefully a few people have heard here what is responsive design. It's just a technical word again for something that already exists before, and it almost comes back to what Chris was saying before about the cloud. It's nothing new, it has been done before, but it's just another kind of buzzword going around. But we do have to consider other platforms, and I'll give you an example. So there is an Android phone, iPhone, another Android phone, there's a Windows phone, BlackBerry, Palmberry, and then there's tablets. And the size of dimensions for these are incredible. So you can't really design for individually design. So the design needs to be almost tailored, and it has to work across all of these different kind of dimensions. So. So this is not something you would do when you're browsing, but it just gives you an idea how responsive design works. So if I have my stations view opened, and you can imagine that if you go into a kind of tablet view, things start to shrink down a little bit more, and then if you keep going down even more to kind of mobile view, this is the kind of view you would get on a mobile phone, and then if you keep going even more, kind of iPhone, and then almost like feature phone, which the images are very small, the design needs to be to kind of tailor for that. And then kind of, nearly to kind of finish it off, I'm just going to show some of the tools I use. Each designer is different, and they use different tools, but I want to show you the ones that I use on a daily basis, and hopefully will give you an idea. And if you're kind of thinking of getting a job also, this is like some of the tools you probably will be using in the industry. So I just included a few of them, I don't want to include too many, but OmniGraffle, Azure, and MindNode, and Text Wrangler, and definitely Spotify, some of the tools you'll be using. And so OmniGraffle, it's great to kind of create like user journeys, but also kind of design specifications. So it's really, really kind of easy to use software. MindNode is the one I use all the time, and it's free to download, and it's very simple to kind of create really quick kind of mind maps. Azure, it's also very, very good program to use. So imagine like Flash but in HTML. So you can quickly actually build a prototype there, and then kind of when you compile it, you can see it in the browser, and then you can take it almost to like a tablet and like an iPad or an iPhone, and see how things work there. And obviously Text Wrangler, it's a little bit of coding there as well. And obviously a really kind of cheesy kind of Spotify list of driving. Just to kind of finish it off, user experience design does loads of things, but at the BBC you do have a chance to work on so many platforms, mobile, tablet, desktop, and also you have a chance to work with many creative people as well. Hopefully that it's been interesting so far, and hopefully it will be useful. The information I've just shared. Also, BBC is hiring a user experience designer, so actually several, and one of them might be in Manchester. So if you want to go up there, I guess. Because I don't want to go. Actually, I went there last week for the first time for 2 days, and I think the BBC building it looks amazing.
Media City is fantastic.
Media City is amazing, absolutely. Holiday Inn is even better.
Yeah.
But there isn't much else. So I probably shouldn't say that. But, and also, I just want to say something just to finish off. Everyone here is everyone here is like in the kind of digital media industry, but trying to explain this to my mom, it's basically this is what she has in mind, and I'm not kidding. This is what she thinks I am. She cares that I'm like a computer freak almost, but I'm not. So if you have any questions, I'm willing to take any questions at the end. I will try to stay as much as I can afterwards, but it's my godson's birthday today, so I'll be a little bit early. And thank you very much.
Okay, I think we won't have time for questions. We're running a little bit behind schedule, so apologies for that. But I think we can take a quick drink afterwards.
Yeah.
So have a chance then. So